Alrighty, gamers, so we got a sort of sneak peek for the next update, which we already sort of knew was xmen 97, but now they've confirmed it with the following. Mutants detected. Stay alert. Coming soon to Marvel Future Fight xmen 97. Mutants join the fight. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, it doesn't actually tell us who's coming. There's so many characters. I found an article, Screen Rant article. We'll talk about it in a minute. There's so many characters, but let's just see what they did actually give us, okay? Because on Twitter, they gave us nothing. On the forums, they said, the mutants who fight to protect the honor of their kind and humanity have taken the stage. Again, this is sort of like the overarching plot of xmen 97, the return of the X-Men. Get ready to join the X-Men who never lost faith despite facing discrimination and adversity. Thank you. Again, no hints whatsoever. Over on YouTube, you're like, oh man, there's probably going to definitely be some hits on YouTube, right? No. There are not. We do get the logo, which is cool. Let's check out maybe get ready to join the X-Men? No. Okay, nothing at all. So what can we really glean from this? Not much, but we can definitely speculate. We can definitely speculate. Now, for those of you wondering, what is the timeline here? First of all, I think that we're going to see the live stream announcement tonight, which will reveal 2 of the characters or uniforms that are going to be coming. Because I think there's a possibility that we get at least 1 new character, and of course there's basically a guarantee we get at least 3 or 4 new uniforms. And if this is going to be a big update, it might even take up the mid-month, and we might see something like Thunderbolts, where they advertise like, you know, a new character and like 6 or 7 uniforms, and then they split it up half and half. But yeah, I do think tonight we're going to see the live stream announcement. And then on Monday, the 2nd of June, I think at night, we're going to have the live stream with 3RL to reveal a bunch of stuff. And then I think on the 3rd, we're going to have, of course, the patch notes and then the update. So yeah, that's the plan for me. I'll be live on the 4th at like 4 a.m. and I'll live stream this stuff and we'll have a blast with xmen 97. Now, that's the timeline that I think is going to happen. As far as what we can glean from this sneak peek, the only thing I think is certain is the presence of 1 or more villains. Because they said mutants detected, stay alert. And I could be wrong about this completely, but mutants detected sounds like a scanner. And a scanner, of course, sounds like a robot. And then a robot, of course, lends to Sentinels, Bolivar Trask, Nimrod, and Bastion. And we actually didn't talk about this in the last video that I did when I broke down all the characters through Google GIFs that I thought could come to the game, mostly in the form of uniforms. But what I wanted to do now is basically just cover the new characters, because there's a bunch of uniforms for sure, like, you know, Emma Frost, Cyclops, Jubilee, whatever. But new characters, right? If new mutants are being detected, if new mutants are joining the fight, because that's usually also the phrasing that MFF uses when a character is coming in, a brand new character, like, oh, Kang is joining the fight, Gore is joining the fight, whatever. US Agent is joining the fight, the Thunderbolts are joining the fight. It's possible that we get at least 1 new character. So I definitely think Forge is on the table as a potential character. I think he would have a pretty cool skill set, given the fact that he, you know, is kind of like a Giga engineer. He could, you know, build some cool guns and arrays and blasters with some of his skills. I think that would look pretty dope. And if he has any of the like Krakoan tech as well, it could look pretty cool. We've seen all these characters already in the game. Morph is another one, like Mystique. He could come to the game and just have morphing powers. So as much as I think he's a bit underpowered for the game, if Mystique exists, there's no reason why we couldn't have Morph. And Sunspot. I don't think we mentioned Sunspot either, but yeah, this is a big one that could definitely appear in the game, given that he plays a pretty big role in the Jubilee subplot. And that's one of the major subplots, you know, happening at the same time as the general kind of mutants versus haters storyline. So yeah, I think Sunspot, Forge, maybe Morph. On the villain side of things, I definitely think Bastion is a big possibility. He's the major villain of the storyline for Season 1, and we already have Sentinel in the game, and then we have the uniform for Sentinel turning them into Nimrod. So I think it's possible, Mr. Sinister creeping in the background of this shot. I think it's possible Bastion is a uniform for Nimrod, given the fact that they've, rather than making them separate characters, they've just upgraded. I don't think it's likely. I think most likely they add Bastion as a new, like, native tier 2, native tier 3 type character. I think that's the best route to go with it. He could even be a world boss if they're not going to go directly for world boss legend plus Thanos right away, or Supergiant maybe. So they have a lot of options there, but I do think we're going to see at least one villain, whether it's Bastion, whether it's somebody else. Again, I don't really think it's going to be anyone else. I guess they could add Master Mold as a new character, but they're not going to re-add Sentinel. They're not going to re-add Nimrod. They could certainly tier 4 Nimrod. They could jump, you know, Nimrod from tier 2 to tier 4, but that's still within the Sentinel family. And then pretty much that's it. There are a bunch of other characters that do appear. There are a bunch of other mutants that do appear. Like Leech and, you know, a bunch of other ones, but that I can't remember right now. But, like, all the Strong Guy, Pixie, Exodus even appears. He's already in the game tier 2. What's the Banshee, the scratching one? Yeah, Marrow, the scratching one. Anyways, there's a bunch. But, I mean, we could get, like, Prime Sentinel or something like that as a uniform for Nimrod. But I don't think they're going to want to upgrade that and change the look. I think it was a mistake in hindsight to make Nimrod a uniform rather than a separate character, but it is what it is at this point. So I think that's what we can expect. I don't know if there's anything else I'm missing or anything out of left field they could do as far as characters go. They're going to want to add stuff specifically from the show, so I don't think they're going to reach beyond the show. There are also non-mutants that appear in the show, like the you know, the Shi'ar race of people that are along there with Gladiator and Professor X. But again, I don't think they're gonna venture into that cosmic territory because it's not mutants, and it's gonna sort of confuse the theme of the update, which is X-Men 97. Some people have also jumped on the fact that the sneak peek has lightning in it here, and then also lightning, I think, with the X-Men 97 logo. Yeah. I don't think that means Storm necessarily. Now, I definitely think Storm could get a uniform. It's been 2 or 3 years since her seasonal uniform. I definitely think she could get a new one that's not seasonal, absolutely. But I don't think the lightning specifically means Storm, just given the fact that this has always been how they present this animated X-Men logo, whether it was for the original X-Men animated series or now the new one, which essentially just pays homage to it deeply. Again, I don't think that that it means Storm specifically. I just think it's part of the ongoing lore. So that's basically it. And then in addition to that, obviously we're going to get a bunch of new uniforms. It's anyone's guess which uniforms we get. Of course, I'm rooting for existing characters who haven't gotten upgrades recently to get one. You know, as much as I would like, let's say, Cable to get a uniform, at the same time, he gets one every couple of years, and he's always good. He's not great right now, but, for example, Bishop's never been good. Nightcrawler's never been good. Jubilee has never been good. So I think those characters deserve it more. But then again, most of the characters I named are all blast type with 1 speed, so there's also that. As far as the Hellfire Club goes, because I didn't mention them specifically, I think the only real possibility is Sebastian Shaw that we don't have in the game right now. I know there are other members, but they're just so unpopular. They're just so unknown compared to him that it just doesn't make sense. And we already have Emma, so I think he's kind of the only one that makes sense to add to the game until they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like, if this game goes another 10 years, sure, you can add, like, the really obscure characters. Until then, we still have a bunch of mutants, like 20, 30 mutants that are more popular, way more popular, that can be easily identified or even appear in shows. And then we have a bunch of other characters, even things like Onslaught, right? Like the mutant fusions. There's a bunch of other characters and villains that are way more popular that should be added in the meantime. So, yeah, that's basically my take. We'll see what we're going to get. I would guess, if I had to speculate, and I love speculating, the next sneak peek, the one for the live stream announcement tonight, is going to feature 1 new character and 1 uniform. So if I close my eyes, I would probably picture Jubilee's uniform and then Sunspot. That would probably be what I would do, or maybe something like, you know, Nightcrawler and Sunspot or something like that. I think it's going to be 1 new character and 1 new uniform. And I think if they are adding Bastion as a boss or as a native tier 3 or some sort of like pinnacle, you know, thing. I think they're going to hide Bastion and maybe only tease him in the live stream, or maybe even delay him. I think that's another possibility because they do take their time. We know this with the big characters. They may tease Bastion and then only release him in the mid-month so that they can really tweak him and get him in a good place for the game rather than rushing him out. And hopefully, right, this update in general breaks the curse of weak updates this year and that have plagued 2025 and sort of like ineffectual non-meta upgrades. Hopefully we get at least one meta upgrade for PvE and one meta upgrade for PvP. That would be kind of the ideal situation, or more potentially. It depends on how much you like mutants in general, I guess. But yeah, that's all the speculation I can stomach for one video, guys. Thank you so much for watching through. Hit me up in the comments down below on Discord, Twitter, etc. with your speculation on what we're going to see and who you would like to see as far as new uniforms and new characters. I'm very excited for this update, but they are really keeping the info under wraps for now. So yeah, hopefully that means there's a lot of twists and turns to come. Anyways, thanks so much. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.